Okay, we're ready.
All right,
Ready?
ready?
All right. All right, good afternoon. Welcome to the Athens-Clarke County Board of Elections. Regular meeting, the date is September 12th at 4:30 PM. We're at 120 West Doherty Street in Athens, Georgia. First item on the agenda is to adopt the agenda. The chair will entertain a motion to adopt. Okay, wait a second.
Second.
Motion, Mr. Kadir, second, Ms. Till. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, agenda is adopted. Next item on the agenda are the approval of minutes. In front of you, you have three sets of minutes from August 9th, August 23rd, August 24th. August 9th was a regular meeting, 23 and 24 were special meetings. Board members take a moment to review those. Then the floor is open for a motion to,
I see the 8th and the 25th. Holding the sheet.
on the back.
Okay. You have it with you.
On the back of the sheet.
Oh, I'm saying
Double
double
sided.
print.
Double
I got
sided,
it.
yeah.
Gotcha.
And like I said, the floor is open to a motion to approve.
Chair, I would move that, well, there's one correction. I'd like to move that we approve the minutes amended to correct the date error. The regular meeting was August the 8th, and the special meetings were on August 24th and 25th.
So the first, August 8th on the meeting,
Our agenda is in
the
today's.
agenda is incorrect. Okay.
But as printed on the documents, on the minutes, they're correct. So I guess there's no correction to be made on the actual minutes. So I believe that we approve the minutes.
The 8th, the 24th, and the 27th. Right?
Correct. Our agenda is in error, but those minutes are correct as drafted.
Would you like to make that motion?
I would move that we approve the minutes from the August 8th meeting, the August 24th meeting, and the August 25th.
Okay, do we have a second?
Sure.
Motion, Mr. Shirley, second, Ms. Till. All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay. Perfect. Next item on the agenda is public comment. If there's anyone wishing to make a public comment. Okay. Doesn't appear as though there's any members of the public wishing to make a public comment, so we will move on. Next item on the agenda is the director's report, of which you'll find in your packet. The chair recognizes the director.
Afternoon. So you have in your report, your activity report or our activity report, Athens-Clarke County. And right now we have a total of active registered voters, 72,346. Our inactive voters decreased. That gives us a total eligible of 81,998, which is less than what we had last month. And then for as far as cancellations, we have a total of 83, 2 of which voters requested their names to be removed, 57 deceased, 24 are felon removals, and then we produced 42 and provided 42 voter IDs for this month. I will share with you that, we do have a new voter registration system that still has some kinks that need to be worked out, and the Secretary of State's office is working on that. But it's difficult sometimes when we compile our cancellation list, particularly our felons and our deceased list. It really took us, I think, since Friday, we were able to finally get a number today of what number of deceased and felons that we have removed.
And you're referring to Jarvis.
Jarvis, yes. And so Jarvis is a work in progress. I know you've probably heard that and seen it in some of your buzz posts from Firefly. But we were able to get those statistics, and so you have those there in front of you. At this time, Nathan's not here, but Aletha, I believe, is gonna give us an update on the sticker contest. And then following that, Lisa's gonna update you on our National Poll Worker Days and some of the events where we've honored our poll workers, as well as the LNA test. She'll go ahead and do that. And the community engagement, as this is Disability Voting Rights Week. Lisa will do that and update you on the LNA, which is part of our goals listed in 4A. So, Letha, if you would start with that. As well, Letha's gonna give you information about the Spanish language project as well.
Hello, everyone. The I Voted Early sticker design contest was a great success. We had 153 entries. Wow. We were very excited about that. We had a lot of the younger generation participating as well. Our department hosted the judging for the designs that were submitted. The contest ended on September 1st, and we had 4 judges. Each design was scored using the guidelines, the 4 criteria. The guidelines that were followed was the sticker an appealing design? Was it suitable for a sticker based on size and shape? And was an appropriate theme? There were 4 designs that scored the highest, and countywide voting opened on the ACC.gov website on Wednesday, September 6th. So far, more than 400 people have voted in the contest, and the voting will remain open until Sunday, October 1st at 11:59. The design with the most will be used as our early voting sticker for the 2024 election. All the finalists have won T-shirts with their designs on them, and the final winner will receive a mug with their design on it and a $50 Downtown Athens gift card. The voting form is open, and you can go to the website, and it's going across the main screen. So if you get a chance, go on there and vote for the 2024 I Voted Early sticker. Now, in your packet, I've heard back from 2 vendors.
Thank you.
2 vendors for the Spanish translation, Ad Astra, and the other one, I can't remember her name, I'm sorry. But NWI Global. And I spoke with her on yesterday, and Ad Astra, they're both ready. I provided the information for Ad Astra, and I provided, Ms. Johnson asked me to send her just a sample of something. And I sent her a sample of our LNA document, and she just looked at that document and said, that'll be $75 minimum fee. So she said, it just depends on what it is that you want translated. And so she's willing and ready to help. Both of them are. So it'll just be up to you to decide which one you want to proceed with. That's all.
Okay, so good afternoon, board. Say, hold on.
I said hello.
Oh, hello.
Good afternoon.
All right, so last month on the 14th and 15th of August, which was during National Poll Worker Appreciation Week, we held 2 events for our poll workers. They really enjoyed it. We showed them a film called No Time to Fail, which was a film that was produced basically to honor poll workers and election administration officials, to show what we do every day and what it was like to work the 2020 election. And they really enjoyed it. There were a multitude of reactions to the film, which is what we had when we saw it too. You know, there were times when you can feel the tension in the film, where we laughed, where kind of wanted to cry a little bit for the people because you understood what they were going through. So it was really nice. And then we held a party for them afterwards to lift the mood and gave them some gifts. And they really seemed to enjoy it. So the next event that we're going to do is tomorrow. This is also Disability Voting Rights Week, and we've put together an event to be held at the library tomorrow from 3 until 7 for disabled voters to come and test the equipment, demo voting on it on the ATI machines. There'll be a station set up where they can apply to be poll workers if they would like to. Transit is coming with some information about accessible ways to get to the polls. I believe that, and Audra will have a table set up for absentee balloting. There may be some more things going on, but those are the only ones I can remember right now. But Renee Russo worked really hard to make sure that different departments of the government, different services were represented to talk to them and help them understand how they can make the most out of voting. Okay, and then moving on to logic and accuracy testing for this upcoming election, we're going to, the projected date, things can always change depending on when we get our ballot project, but our projected date is to begin next Wednesday, the 20th, and run through the 22nd. We'll start at 10 a.m. on the 20th, and then at 9 a.m. on the 21st and the 22nd until we complete the process.
Could you say those dates and times again, please?
September 20th, starting at 10 a.m. until 5, so basically the entire day. The 21st, starting at 9 until 5, and the 22nd, 9 until we finish. Can I mention poll worker training? Because that's already set also. Our poll worker training for this particular election will start on the 28th and run through the second weekend in October.
National Poll Worker Day.
National Poll Worker Day was on the 16th of August. So that was during that week when we held the poll worker appreciation events.
We got National Voter Registration.
Oh, National Voter Recreation Day.
I got it, Melissa.
All right. Thank you.
Hello, board.
Worker training, 28.
Starts the 28th of September and runs most every day until the second Saturday in October.
Could you send us a schedule so that I can carve out some time to attend one?
Absolutely.
Yes, we encourage you guys to attend
Yeah,
those.
I make my best intent every time.
Yes, please do.
Yeah.
So you'll know what we're telling them and, you know.
And I was just reminded too to say that we did open the poll worker application a couple of weeks ago. And we just held those interviews. There were 19 applications and just a few less than that interviews because people didn't respond. 12 interviews we called. So we should have 12 new people that can work selection if they get through the hiring process.
Will that, I have a question, will that be enough? I know it will for this election. Will that?
Unless something changes, we had lots of poll workers say that they were willing to work this November. So we actually have more than enough for the first time, but I hesitate to say that because something can always change.
Something happens, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, 2024 will open the poll worker application again to build up our force a little bit more.
You have National Voter Registration Day.
That's correct. Hello, board. So on Tuesday, September the 19th, 2 of our staff members from the election office, they will be having a table set up at the Tate Center from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. to register students to vote and to ask any questions that they may have about voting in Athens. Also, in addition, we're still going to have a table set up at the office for anybody that want to come by and do voter registration as well. And that same day at 6:00, our department will be hosting a voter registration forum for organizations that are interested in holding registration drives, as well as any interested voters who want to register to vote. This will also give voters and organizations a chance to ask questions about registration or elections in general and ahead for the 2024 cycle. This forum will take place at the Clarke County Library from 6 to 7:30 p.m. And I have some flyers that I'll give you on and some of the material that we'll be handing out that day as well. Thank you.
And what's the date again on that?
September the 19th.
Okay.
It's at the library. Oh, the Tate Center.
When we went to the national conference, the Election Center Conference in Orlando, we received our award, the Minuteman Award for our professional practice paper. And I brought it and put it on the counter, this table back here, so you guys can see what we did.
Tell us why we.
Okay.
We wanted for writing a professional practice paper based on our election night return process.
So that's y'all too.
That's you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, as well, I'd like to recognize Pam and Lisa for obtaining their SIRA certification. So we now have 3 people on our staff who are certified to run elections, the highest level as it relates to what we do in our career. So we're happy with that.
Congratulations.
We're glad about that. We have some others joining, but that's what we have. And
Big pay raise now, right?
no. We're operating in our job description. And it does help us to do better.
Teaching where you get the next degree, you get a little bump.
Right. Okay, and then just to remind you guys of your goals, I know you already know what they are, but I'll just highlight them. Approval of the polling locations and precinct lines. There are 2 items that I would like for you to begin conversing about and get back with me before your next board meeting. That can be sent to me via email. But we're preparing for our capital budget items for FY25 budget and new initiatives. So if there are any of those things that you would like to submit for our budget, I would like to have that before your next board meeting so that it can be finalized and ready to meet the deadlines that's been set for Clarke County. And then for the Spanish language project, and then finalizing your advanced template, which I know are on your, those 2 things are on your agenda today. All right, just to mention the update on the timeline for our polling locations. I know earlier today, you received communication from the attorney's office of one logistic thing that we discovered when we were creating the resolution for you to adopt the changes today. And it was something that I misread. As in the past practices, you know, you do something all the time and then you realize one day after doing it for so many years, you've been doing it the wrong way. But that was today. It was an aha. Thank you to the attorney's office for pointing this out. But the code section says that at least one notice, and I'm reading for 21 dash.
Can I ask really quickly, how much of this do we want to discuss? Because I think it depends on how the board wants to proceed.
I just wanted to kind of give them an update of what.
Should we
No, I think,
wait till we get to that
Yes.
item on the agenda?
That's fine.
Then we can decide how we want to proceed.
Yes, thank you. Okay, I'll do that. And then Audra's gonna give you an update on open records.
Good evening. Good evening. For the month of August 2023, we received and responded to 3 open records requests. Total was 3. Give me the amaze.
And that's all I have, but I would like to inform you that I will be on medical leave for 2 weeks, starting on Friday. Nothing pressing, but I will be off for 2 weeks, and Pam will be in charge. So if you have anything that you need to address, if you would do that with Pam. And of course, Lisa's there and Alita there to guide.
Okay. What are those dates? Next Friday,
This Friday.
starting this Friday?
September 15th through September 15th through September the 29th. I'll be back at the office October the 2nd.
Is that all you had for? Board members have any questions specific to the report that are not already an agenda item?
Yeah, I have a quick question. This, something I don't need the number right now. I'm just kind of interested to know what the numbers for active registered voters and eligible voters were at the end of 2020. Just wanted to get an idea how much they've increased or gone up. So whenever you have a minute or one of the staff.
Yes, we can get that information for you. Pam, if you could make note to send an email to tell them which you want to know the total active and inactive, so eligible.
Yeah, well, the active and the eligible. I'm just curious to see if they've increased, decreased over the last 3 years, what's been activity going on.
Okay, we can do a spreadsheet that says
Okay.
20, 21, 22, and 23. Yes, okay.
Thank you.
Also on that list, I noticed that, as you pointed out, the total inactive voters went down by about 2,500. I'm curious, was that the result of the usual removal or cleaning up of the rolls, that kind of thing?
Yes, that would be the NGE and the no contact process that took place. And if you notice that our total active voters increased, that doesn't necessarily mean that that was because voters were added, as in they registered to vote, but it could also mean that a voter updated by completing that confirmation notice. So it moved them from inactive to active status. So that's a number of reasons why that number
Gotcha.
is different.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right, moving on. All right, next agenda item is old business, and the first item under that is update on RFP for Spanish language translation. Chair will recognize Mr. Sherman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I guess by way of catching us up, we are in the process we have prepared a scope of work. We approved it for project manager. And we have we've heard from two different groups, two companies, Ad Astra and then NWI Global, interested in doing this for us. I've thumbed through these when we got them today, and there's not really a total that they come up with, because they can't really come up with a total because they don't know how many documents we're going to need, that kind of stuff. I guess we're still kind of operating in bonus time, right? We had thought back in the midsummer that we were going to need to wait until February before this could happen or whatever. But then we learned that because of the dollar value of this proposal, we are able to quickly get someone on board. We don't have the whole contracting process. So I don't feel as much pressure to go with one of these two, though they seem to be well-established companies that are well-experienced with this kind of thing. Ad Astra jumps out to me. I know that when I had I corresponded with Gwinnett County and DeKalb County's election of managers. I believe Gwinnett County uses Ad Astra. I think they're well-established for their BMD translation, which we're not doing, but that's a company that they have a relationship with in Gwinnett. So if that counts for something, if we wanted to proceed, I guess we could, if we wanted to ask Ad Astra, for example, give them a ballpark of how many, like their pricing, Exhibit B in the back of the draft contract they gave us, attachment B, it basically comes down to how many cents per word of translation. If we wanted to get a ballpark number of words from the documents that I've helped compile, I could do that. If we wanted to get a feel for how much it would cost to get Ad Astra to translate for us. But if we wanted to also give it another month and keep reaching out to whoever we might know, I'm not thinking of anybody. So I don't really know. I'm not feeling a pressure to proceed with one of these two, but also I'm not seeing a compelling reason to wait. That's kind of where I'm at with it, just to kind of get to go forward. I don't know about entering into a contract with one of them yet, but following up with them might be what we can do. You can see I'm quickly getting out of my depth here. I don't really know. That's what I'm thinking about so far with this. So if y'all have thoughts about it, or staff.
When you've spoken with these other counties about this process, have you asked them any of these questions about what the next steps were, how they handled that?
I have not. When I reached out to Gwinnett County, remember their process is they are required, right? They're one of the ones that the Voting Rights Act requires them to. So they've gone through this process in a different way than I had envisioned us going through it. The CAB was more the model we were going to try. I had proposed that we try to emulate. They're more of the community-based with a professional that comes in and oversees it. This would be going in a different direction, right? We'd be going with a company who is professional about this. It seems like neither one of these companies would really fit the model I have been envisioning from DeKalb, which is fine. So I'm sorry, shorter answer, no, but I might. I would be happy to reach back out to them and learn from I guess, Gwinnett County in this case, with how their relationship proceeded with Ad Astra. Unless Director Sosby happens to know from talking to Gwinnett County, your counterpart there, if they.
I'm not sure, but I do recall when this was mandated with Gwinnett County and it took them almost a year. They started around January and then they had to have it ready for them to conduct their municipal election. So their municipalities in Gwinnett County were already acclimated to this translation before the entire county was. That makes sense. So, yeah, and it was mandated like that year, and that was the first elections that they had that year. It happened to be in November, so.
And very different, like they were soup to nuts, like
Yeah.
everything had to be, whereas we have the discretion to only offer certain things. So,
They spent a lot in court too, court and attorneys and stuff to get theirs done.
oh, I see.
Get a framework that they followed and some suggestions, pitfalls, those kind of things.
Okay, I'll be happy to do that. Yeah,
Nothing?
I see no reason to wait. I think it's going to be unlikely slew of people or anyone interested. If they're truly interested, they would have reached out. Can only promote it in so many ways. So I'm ready to move forward. Whatever the next step is. So once you have contacted them, get their guidance on what would they require from us. And thanks for doing the work.
My thoughts are, one, I know you could probably, knowing you, so Mr. Secretary could probably give us a good estimate, given these numbers, pretty close. So if you could do that for us, I would appreciate that.
Sure.
And then my other concern is, it's not that I don't trust or believe that these companies know how to translate, because I know they do. Just a double check from the community that the nuance is translated correctly. I don't know how we do that, but I think that was an important part of this process, because you can translate something from A to B, but
It has to make sense.
it has to make sense, because all language is not the same.
Maybe
So-
we could get a CH company, maybe one page about.
Sure. Well, or maybe, we had talked about the project management based on like the DeKalb model, but maybe we can assemble some type of community group to review it, Spanish-speaking community
I think
group.
that would be outstanding.
I don't know how we would go about doing that. That's a little bit off the scope. But I think that's a very important piece to this.
I have someone that could probably get the word out
Sure.
about what we're seeking. If
So,
you
okay,
guys could, type up something or write up something, and I can contact her
contact that person.
and
Okay.
contact that person, and they could probably get the word out in that community.
I was thinking about that poll worker, the young lady that came
Her.
with her
Mhm.
relative.
Right.
And, everybody doesn't know everybody, so it wouldn't hurt to have several people
I think so.
that would reach out to the community.
Yeah.
Right.
That person I'm speaking of would be one, and the young lady that came with her grandmother would be another, and if we could reach out to someone else.
And have 5 or 6 people read it.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, so this is what I'm thinking, is next meeting, we can come with those ideas, so work on that piece, that's like agenda item B under that. And then maybe we can take the next month to review these two, and I would like to read them all thoroughly,
Sure.
and look at the numbers that, see if we're within the amount of money we got.
And that the other
Exactly.
county might suggest.
Right.
I
Right.
think all those pieces will come together for us.
So I think that sounds wonderful. Let me read back what I've got down for what we're gonna do next, and then I would love to hear from staff too. I've got that, Ms. Rambo, would you like for us to have like a simple way of something you could just hand to that person about what we're looking for? And we're looking for maybe forming a community group to help ensure the accuracy, the intelligibility of
Nuance.
translation, the nuance of the translations that we're looking for.
Mhm.
Great, so maybe I could throw one together and the 5 of us could talk about whether that looks good. we like that, then we can, that way we're sure we're giving the same thing to the people.
For
that we're giving
everybody.
I think that's.
Okay, I've got that.
Can we task you with the first draft?
Sure, I'll throw it together. And then, right, I'm not busy. No, I'll be happy to. Yes, I'll be happy to. I also have next month, we'll have on the agenda item, this again, with this, community group idea. And then in the meantime, between now and then, I'll throw together like a rough estimate of what Ad Astra's agreement would come out to as a bill for us. Is that what we got so far?
Sounds great.
And do we have the liberty to talk to this Michelle Johnson,
Yes.
Mackay Schreiner?
Yes.
Would you just let them know tomorrow that they may receive a call from us, or do you want us to just straight up call them?
No, right now, I told her that someone would be in contact.
Okay,
Wonderful.
because I'd love to just talk to them.
I will let her know right now.
And I'm curious, Mr. Chair, the last few minutes we have on this agenda item, if there are thoughts from staff or how else we should proceed.
I would like to share some, just that, that procurement is obviously something that we're always trying to be careful about. And I know that you guys have been talking about that. It'd be great if we could have 3 bids. It sounds like we've really only had any luck getting 2, or not bids, but
Yeah.
3 company proposals that are providing this information. And I know that's what finance and purchasing typically will say under these kind of small scale services, but certainly continue to engage with purchasing. And then remember that the contracting process itself is pretty extensive. So it would be worth asking them if they have draft contracts for this type of work so that we could go ahead and begin reviewing it, because it's entirely possible that there's contract language that will be a deal breaker if we cannot get them to work with us. So that's something I can assist with, but just something to be aware of, that once you guys decide to pull the trigger, it may not be a fast process, even if we're able to work everything out.
See.
Go ahead.
Please, I'm just gonna circle back because, and clearly I've misunderstood something. Manager Jones has sat down with us, and had spelled out, sort of a conservative estimate of how long the full process would take for a full procurement process and contracting. And then I was under the impression after last month or the month before, turns out because we are below a certain threshold, parts of that process, maybe more, maybe less than what I had thought, can be sidestepped.
Certainly as it relates to procurement, right? So like when we're having, and Manager Williams may be better to speak to me this than I do, but certainly in my experience, when we've had to do small scale contracts like this, purchasing has said, we'd like for you to get 3 options, and things like that to choose from. But yeah, it's certainly not like an RFP or a bid process, and it's much faster and much easier. I was just encouraging if you could find a third,
Sure.
that would be great. The contracting process though is the same
I see.
regardless.
Okay.
Like we have certain requirements that are mandated by state law that apply regardless of the amount of the
I see.
contract.
Thank you.
Thanks, and I echo everything that Sherry said. And so what is the order of magnitude of the cost?
15,000 is the ceiling.
Okay, and the other question about whether or not mayor and commission has to get involved, certainly not at that threshold, but if it was previously budgeted, so was it budgeted for this purpose?
It was.
That answers that question. Thank you.
Okay, then I'm having trouble pulling up
I thought you
the
already knew.
graphic.
I thought you already knew.
He's got other
He knows
things.
everything.
Sorry. I'm filling in for Nikki and I'm a poor substitute, so.
He's got bigger.
Then while we have these brains in the room, ballpark on how long the contracting process will take as a standard.
It can easily take 2 to 3 months. Our goal is always for it to be much faster than that.
Sure.
But there are a lot of things that can hold up. Insurance is a classic example. And this is one of those where you may think, why would you need insurance? But I mean, think of professional liability. If they were to mistranslate and caused some sort of issue with a voter who didn't understand something. And I don't, right, exactly. Like my hope is that that isn't realistic.
Sure.
And certainly not with a professional entity, but that's one of the things that we'd have to be concerned with. So insurance is a common holdup. There's the GSIC form, things like that, that just you have to have done with the state. And then there's just what their contract language looks like.
This vendor, correct me if I'm wrong, is already a state approved vendor.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Are both of them?
Both of them
They're on
are.
a state contract?
They are.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that makes it a lot easier.
Makes it
Yeah.
We can just,
Piggyback off of the state
Yeah,
contract.
when we started out, I think there were maybe
Yeah.
6 state approved,
There had
but
been.
we only heard from 2.
now,
I would like to see a third.
Yeah.
again, state approved, SOS approved or state contract purchase?
State contract.
Right.
But so if it's state contract, then Sherry's right. It's just, we can just go ahead and you can select one using some criteria and then you can enter into a contract and the contracting process still applies.
That would make that a lot easier.
Yep.
Yeah.
I see. Okay, yeah, okay. So still, we should still allow, you said 45 days? Sorry, I'm not sure.
I said it could take 2 to 3 months. I would say that if we're piggybacking off a state contract, I would think it would be much faster than that. So maybe 30 days would be reasonable, 40,
Well,
45.
And Charlotte, if you consider this, you might send an email to safety and risk and describe the nature of this engagement and what they'll be doing. And ask for a quick read on what insurance coverages might be required. Go ahead and do that now before you select. And then when you select somebody, that'd be one of the first emails to them.
Yeah.
You have this coverage, and if they don't, they can start, because as Sherry said, that kind of takes time, then they have to send stuff back and check on.
They have to get it in the,
Exactly.
That's a lot of churn in the middle.
Okay.
Who covers this kind of insurance? Does anyone know?
It would be like a professional liability carrier for,
Okay.
and I don't know if there's specific writers related to like translation. I would guess there may be. But there are entities that operate in the sort of the business insurance world that would provide.
Okay. Yeah. Well, Ad Astra is a well-known company. I've been familiar with them. I'm sure they've covered these bases before.
yeah, it's a fairly large company. Anyway, shall we move on?
That's what I've got. Thank y'all very much.
All right, next item on the agenda is one that I brought forward, which is the Emergency Operations Center. I talked to the director on the phone, was it Monday morning? I guess that was yesterday. Well, the days are long. They are. And I had suggested we start looking into what we might be able to do now so we can prepare going into the year, but unless another board member has anything to turn over to Charlotte, we can ask the manager's office too, or I can. He probably has no idea what I'm talking about.
So,
You-
so-
you
yeah,
go.
okay.
Yeah.
So, yes, we currently already have some standard operation procedures in place that we use in case of emergency, and it's based on the type of polling locations that we have. They're categorized, there's 3 different ones. And so we're already doing some communication and collaboration with our locations, regarding our polling locations. And just today, we had a regional meeting with some counties where we're getting ready to produce a COOP plan that's gonna be really conducive to probably any county in our region. So we're kind of working like a draft up on that, but yes, we are in communication with our locations and have already have these SOPs in place. So there are some things that we can start doing, just not in
Yeah,
a very organized way that we would like to think you would do. So-
let's take a step back and let me explain what it is for the people watching, because our retreat was not broadcast. So we had the emergency management director and the elections director from Hall County come and give a presentation to us on what they do and how they handle election day. And it was in the director's strategic plan anyway to do this. And I thought, I've been thinking about this for a few years, and real quick, what it is all the stakeholders in one room on election day kind of set up how we are. If something happens, the different groups can coordinate and work together in the same room to either escalate or de-escalate whatever situation could have happened. So I saw the sheriff the other day out in the world, not because I was in trouble. And he said that he would love to work with us on that and thinks that that's a good idea as well. But my question for the manager's office is, kind of infrastructure do we have in place? I know that we do a similar thing if there's a hurricane coming or an ice storm. In my mind, election day is the same thing as a UGA football game or. So what type of structure, like who would be our emergency management director, like those kind of questions, and I'm happy to sit down offline, kind of like Adam did, met with Manager Jones and Charlotte. So.
Well, I guess I did miss the meat and content. I don't want to bring you any inconsistency. And so I think the question you're asking is if should a natural disaster happen on election day, what's our fallback plan? Is that,
Not necessarily. So say, yeah, I was gonna say, a woman has a baby in line. So then
Like
every
gives birth, like.
gives birth, excuse me. And in that room is EMT. They can dispatch that and then we, send people to deal with the public, to keep the line, keep election day functioning as it should and not cause a disruption. PIO's in the room and can say, it's not an emergency or whatever, if media starts calling. Just a coordinated response,
I see.
not necessarily just a natural disaster.
So I'm sorry. So we have something called the Emergency Command Center where people are.
Acronym in different order.
That's what, is that what you're?
Yes.
Could we stand up something like that on election day? Yes, we could. Yeah, we certainly could do that. Have there been instances in the past that have pointed to this, or this is just being prepared and going forward?
Being prepared, but,
We were at a meeting, if you recall, Rocky was there briefly and Sean was a national meeting or I think several states participated. And they're saying there's a lot of chatter about there could be disruptions.
I got you.
Not happy about things, right?
Right, okay,
Someone leaves a package,
right,
walks away, and no one knows what to do about it.
okay. That's fair. Now I understand. It's not so much just everyday events, but if there's an innovative
Something
response.
extraordinary,
Director and I were talking, perhaps the Hall County guy could do a WebEx little short version, so you and the other leaders that would be stakeholders could kind of see what we're thinking of and what they did.
Well, I think that makes sense. You just have to staff it. And of course, that's a long day, as y'all know. But we could talk, yeah, and typically what that looks like is you got several representatives from different agencies who are together and they're package. Police makes a call, a fire. And I think that makes a lot of sense, quite frankly.
The power simply goes out on a machine.
Sure. Or somebody is campaigning too close to the polling area, which
All of the
I
things.
know y'all normally take care of that, but if it's happened remotely and we're all there together, then.
Yes.
So,
Yes, please.
Really, you want to add this, so.
Yeah.
I'm out here.
Yeah.
Hall County's command post is also an election day management command center. So they are talking to the poll workers, if the poll worker says, no, I need more pens, I need more what, they manage who goes out to help them in non-emergency, just administrative type things also. I have a machine down.
Yes.
They do all that in this center.
All at the command center.
which would be probably at election, well, I guess we should stop here.
And they actually are not using phones, they're using walkie-talkies.
Yeah, we've got that.
Special channel,
Yeah.
something about special
Yeah, they
channel.
have a special channel.
But anyway, the point of the agenda item was to start the discussion, to think about how we can do this and make this happen for November 2024 or possibly March.
Yeah.
Makes good sense. Thank you.
Lisa, did you have anything?
No, no.
All right, let's go. Next item on the agenda under new business is the final approval of changes to polling precincts. Election day polling locations effective March 2024. All the board members, did you have a chance to review your email this afternoon?
I did.
I don't think I got it.
Okay.
But if it's something we've already discussed.
No, it's
No.
not that.
So,
I can open it and share it with her if that would be easier.
yeah,
I can pull it up now and she can look on my phone.
I guess
if she so desires.
the first question is for the 4 board members that have read it. Would you like to go into an executive session to discuss attorney-client privilege document?
It's a document that's not releasable under the Open Records Act, which is an exception for an executive session under the Open Meetings Act.
What do you all think?
I'm asking you.
Well, I think I'm going with what Attorney Hines said.
Be
This is
careful.
such a minor thing. I think we should just move
The
forward.
whole point of this is to be careful, though.
Hmm?
Okay.
For me, I think we should go into executive session.
Yes.
You might want to go in a different room, because with this setup, I really don't know how to make it secure. And we
We've
just
used
don't.
that room in the past.
Yeah.
That room's it.
I'm with Ms. Willa. Just so we can have an open conversation with our attorney on the topic. So.
So that means
given-
cannot be streamed anymore.
Correct, but I was wondering if perhaps we should do the other agenda items and then
Do
we
that
could do
later.
executive session and then close the meeting.
Sure, so
Or
if you
come
wanted
back in
to do that, there could be a motion to amend the agenda to move that to the end and to provide for an opportunity to go into executive session. That might be a way to make that very clear on the record.
And this
So-
is the conference room, so.
Okay, thank you. So first of all, the chair will entertain a motion to amend the agenda to move new business item number 1 to the end of the meeting, number 4. Okay, motion, Ms. Till, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion, Ms. Till, second, Mr. Shirley, all those in favor of amending the agenda?
Aye.
Agenda is amended. So the next item on the agenda is Board of Elections appointees needed for vote review panel and ballot duplication panel for November 5th, 2023 election.
I've included the names on the back on the very last page. And you know, other people that, I just.
Here, I apologize, but I have to go to mayor and commission meeting. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I think you can.
Let's see.
There, I just can't find anything that tells me what this.
How many do we need?
Okay. Are these, is this a partisan appointment or nonpartisan?
I think that is up in the air right now, Director.
Yeah,
Because I think it's a nonpartisan, but
yeah,
out, but I don't know. Director Sophie was looking at information.
Yes,
Partisan or nonpartisan election?
yes. So if I could just make a request that this be moved to your October meeting.
do we have enough time?
I like to let them, give them their schedule so that they can move stuff if they need to, but that's what we need to do.
Okay, well then, may I make another suggestion? Why don't we go ahead and prepare both a nonpartisan and a partisan team? And then inform them when we have clarity, which team we'll actually need.
Well,
Okay,
with the BOE reps, it doesn't even matter.
okay,
I can contact the Republican rep and the Democratic rep, because that's all I have to do is add those
okay.
but the BOE one.
Okay, so then what we would need from you would just be who your BOE designee would be. And then we would make, we will be able to let you know in the next meeting which particular panel we'll use. That's okay.
Okay. So we don't need clarification on this whole partisan thing.
We do just, we don't
Well,
have
we
it.
do,
today.
but not under this agenda item. Correct.
So the BOE appointees doesn't matter because they're.
Right, because they're the third. Okay. The floor is open for nominations of the names presented in front of us.
I have a question. Yeah. Are all 5 of these individuals equally available? There's no different schedule available?
I don't know.
Oh,
These are just people from,
Oh.
served in the past.
Who else served
I
previously?
see. I see. Okay, thank you.
And
Do we need to, I mean, all these people are well qualified. Can you reach out to all of them? And chances are their schedules, you may have.
that's what I was getting ready to say. I can reach out to all of them and see who's available. But I just wanted to give it to you first and not just pick somebody.
Well, okay,
It just occurred to me.
I think the part about the availability, and then we'll come back and make a decision.
let's,
Because that's probably gonna help us out more than anything.
Because I found.
Okay.
Our section.
I have a question.
Okay, well, let me say one thing. I was gonna say, we could possibly just vote on these as a slate, that we approve all these people serving, and then giving her the directive to
To reach out.
go from there.
Thank you.
Depending on schedule, the schedule.
We were gonna say.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So the chair will entertain a motion to approve the slate of voter, Board of Elections and voter registration panel appointees.
I so move.
Okay,
I'll second. I have a question procedurally.
okay, well, yep, go.
Should we name them in the motion? No. Got it. Thank you.
Okay, motion, Ms. Fambro, second, Mr. Shirley. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Next item on the agenda are advanced voting dates, times, locations for the November 5th general election. Okay, so my name is under this, so I guess I will start. We're not talking about the bigger project we're working on,
Okay.
right? This is just for the special asking the board members.
Correct. That's my understanding of this agenda item. That is, we are cleaving it into. The more urgent issue is the current approaching election.
Okay.
If I'm mistaken, though, please correct me. Item number 3 on the.
Yeah, well, it's now new number 2, but it's printed as number 3.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think we need any more than downtown personally, but
Excuse me.
it's okay. Everyone take a deep breath.
Right.
I know, sorry, I forget you.
Okay.
Gotta put seat beside you.
Any opinions on November 5th, 2023 special election?
I agree that it is unfortunate that all statistical evidence shows that the turnout for this will not be as great as we would like it to be. And so I am not ready to fight for a robust slate of locations and dates. I think people who want to vote are highly motivated in this election, with the one exception, as we've been discussing. I do, because of the county-wide, there's one contest, special for clerk of court. And then there's the winter bill.
That's a good
It's a very
point.
local. So I think if we were to open anything besides the Board of Elections office, I would think the first priority would be either the cultural center or the
Yep.
train depot, if we did anything, because of the local.
Do you have an opinion,
I'm just,
recommendation?
that I agree you need to open Winterville. It
Okay.
would need to be the depot, the cultural center is already
Mhm.
for it.
Right, exactly.
I'm open to other places if y'all think so, but that's kind of where I.
Yeah,
So-
I'm in agreement because I just, for these type of elections, I just don't feel like the dedication is there for some people to get out and vote.
What about the library? Do you generally feel, I think that's
I
a
mean,
nice.
let's be honest, how
location.
many people are gonna vote?
Vote,
That's,
yeah.
Exactly.
I'm
I understand.
agreement with downtown,
Downtown and Winter.
So at least.
downtown and Winterville, yes.
I think we should do also what the code section says from eight to 5 on all days except for the Wednesdays, like we traditionally do.
So-
Until 7 o'clock.
9 to 5, I think it's the normal operating hours of the Board of Elections office for that. So that's always gonna be 8. Right, that'll be 8 to 5, but then any additional locations must be 9 to 5. Right, they can't be any later than 9 and
Let's
earlier than
just, it
5.
needs
I
to
think
be
it
the
can be
same.
any hours we want.
Right, but it cannot be 10 to 4 or 11 to 7. It has to
Yeah.
be 9.
And actually, like Nathan's pointed out at the retreat, which I totally agree, it'd be nice to keep it consistent.
8
for
to 5.
Both of them, 8 to 5 everywhere, absolutely. I mean, everywhere is in the.
Except Saturday,
That's,
right? Saturday is 9 to 5.
Also, are there
Yeah.
home football games on that Saturday?
Doesn't matter.
Why? But are there?
Yeah, there you go.
We saw last time, they could be wrong.
That's right.
So it was 10, that's too bad.
right,
Okay.
9 to 5.
But we are required to keep them open on Saturdays. So
right.
we don't have.
Sorry, at least the downtown office. We don't have.
We don't
we're not
have to
required,
spread out,
Right.
but at
We
least
can,
downtown.
but we don't have to.
Because of the situation at Winterville,
We have to do that. Right.
Sounds like we're in agreement.
When is the, is it Amerigo? What is the festival?
Marigold.
That's in May.
Well, hang on. Let's just check.
Well, that's good.
It's in May.
May 13th. Just missed it.
I just know it,
Kind of a thing, are you? You don't know when that is.
I just think there was something that deterred us from having a Saturday in, Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
so that was on primary.
Okay,
Sorry.
so at this point, we're doing downtown, Winterville, 9 to 5 or 8 to 5? I thought the code says.
Downtown must be 8 to 5.
Okay.
That's settled, right?
So downtown must be 8 to 5. Let's just have Winterville match.
no, if you want to match, that's fine.
For
Yeah. I think
communication's sake.
It's very important, exactly. Just for communication purpose, I think 8 to 5 would be.
And Winterville is gonna be the last week? Or,
Can it be all the same the whole time, or is that?
now that's something we will have to get approval on.
Oh, okay. so
Because in years past,
facility.
it's the third week only. The first 2 weeks are always the board office.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
And then
So we have the train depot on
In support of
Just
that.
the last week.
that Saturday, the last Saturday?
That's Saturday, and then Monday through Friday.
Monday through
Gotcha.
Friday, yes.
So the last Saturday, then Monday through.
And
Friday.
Monday.
Saturday, yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. You're just having sure.
compare notes with director.
Come around to this.
What?
I
I
mean,
didn't
that's the
think come
reality.
around to
It's
this,
the
but it's
reality
great.
of how small it is.
Depends on.
8 to 5. Okay,
Come on, Winterville.
so
Do we need to have like, well, I mean, it's a given we can have the tennis center then, probably if Winterville's not available. I'm just thinking of things on that side of town.
They're available. They're expecting to be early voting.
Oh, okay,
You're kind of alerted.
right.
so far, we agree, week 1 and 2, board office, 8 to 5 will be the place, and then the Saturdays that were required to be open.
Yeah.
9 to 5 as required.
Yes,
And then week 3, we're talking about board office has to be already 8 to 5,
Right.
but then adding the Winterville train depot.
right,
Saturday and then Monday through Friday. Eight.
as they're required, same
And
time.
then Saturday, though, that last Saturday, that the second Saturday that Winterville opens up will be 8 to 5 also?
Also,
9 to 5.
9 to 5.
Saturday's 9 to 5? That's what I want to make sure of.
Sure. I mean, it's just easier. to-
yeah, it is much easier
Tell
to
us
keep it
about-
8 to 5. I think staff will be okay with it, right?
Saturday, let me make a commentary. Half of Athens sleeps in on Saturday morning. Think somebody gonna show up at 4, maybe 2 people. I'm serious.
I totally agree with that. I was only thinking in terms of advertising it. Whenever the 2 places are open.
Yeah,
8 to
I
5.
mean, I
The
totally,
major thing is that it's open.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, that's a good point. Even if they come there, they can see the sign says 9 to 5 and they can come
It's
back a little bit.
because, my brain operates on, okay, they're gonna be open Saturday. Maybe I need to look at
Okay.
what time.
Okay. I can go with that.
All right. Great.
so the floor is open for a motion. What is your motion, Ms. Till?
Did we do it? Just do it.
Okay, Nike.
I don't think it's quite cut up yet.
I'm trying to think how to word it. I've got the nuts and bolts. How should we word it?
Per exhibit A.
Wait, 1.
Well, I'll make a motion that the November 2023 election,
Well, Ms. Till already made
oh,
it.
you already got it. Oh,
So
Just writing it out.
oh, great.
Ms. Till made a motion, so
I
you
didn't
can
even hear it.
second it
Okay.
once he figures out what it says.
She finishes.
And if nobody seconds, then you can make your motion.
No, that's the one. I didn't hear that, sorry.
It's, I know what we want to say. I've got it, but. this
Everyone
way it
stop
works.
looking
Yeah,
at
it's- No, it's fine. Monday through Friday, October 23rd through 27th, 8 AM until 5 PM at the
Thing is hard.
elections office. Saturday.
You know how I have to open
Was Monday through Friday. Yeah. 30th.
This is the one.
No, that's not long. I'm a week off.
Oh, no, you're not.
That's 3 weeks, right? We've done 3 weeks. That's the last week of advance voting.
Mhm.
That's the second week, that's the first week.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a good thing.
So, Monday.
Where's second? It's over here.
Open 27. Saturday the 28th.
Right, right.
Sherry, would you like some snacks?
That's the
Peanut butter crackers.
21st, we just said.
Sorry.
Uh-huh.
October 21st. 5 p.m. at the elections office. We got week 2, week 3. Here we go. All right, so.
Through 23 through 27, and then Saturday the 28th, which will be at the office and Motorville.
That's right, there we go.
And then Monday the 30th through 30.
Um, 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. at the elections office and at the. Okay, thank you so much. What I've heard is, I'm about to say everything we just said, but it's gonna be in long date form. So, I hear a motion by Ms. Till to hold advanced voting for the November 5th, 2023 election as follows. Monday through Friday, October the 16th through 20th, 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. at the elections office. Saturday, October 21st, 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. at the elections office. Monday through Friday, October 23rd through 27th, 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. at the elections office. Saturday, October 28th, 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. at the elections office and at the Winterville Train Depot. Monday through Friday, October 30th through November 3rd, 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. at the elections office and at the Winterville Train Depot.
Do you want to second that?
I'll second it.
I would like to make a friendly amendment. Would you be okay if we amended the Wednesdays, all the Wednesdays until 7 p.m. for the 3 Wednesdays?
Well, that goes back to the communication, makes it difficult. I mean, I like the thought of it.
It's what we've traditionally done.
I know.
So people are kind of used to that.
For this, for odd year election,
Small election now,
yeah.
and we have Saturdays.
Yeah, they have Saturdays, exactly. They got 2 locations.
Want to consider the library?
What?
Pardon
You
me?
want to consider the library? Or discuss the library?
Yes.
Okay. So you're not amenable to my amendment.
It sounds like everybody's
That's-
saying no, so
So does somebody want to make an additional amendment to that motion? Adding the library to fit within the times that were on the original motion?
Excuse me, my reason the only reason I was not in favor of the library to begin with was because I wanted to be, as sensitive as I could be to staff and their needs. I'm not about to argue against staff when they're asking for another location. So I'm thinking of this. So if I'm hearing from staff that
Yeah.
that's a good thing.
It's just a thought that it's our most popular location, so
Absolutely.
I'm not saying,
Parking,
telling you what to do. Just-
It's an excellent place.
well,
And
I'll make that.
I believe we would get calls about it too.
Okay. Would you be open to that friendly amendment?
if it's suggested by staff, I trust them and I would go with what they are suggesting.
Yeah, I came here fully prepared to vote on the library, but which days are you suggesting? That entire 3rd week, right?
The 3rd week.
I'm all for that.
Third week
Okay,
and a
so I
Saturday.
want to second the amendment.
Are you saying third week and a Saturday? The last Saturday?
Keep it the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the same, yeah, that's what I'm
it's
asking.
Easier,
Yeah, this
Same as the
yeah,
train-
Saturday.
Train to just mirror the train.
Mirror the, yeah.
because we have just 3 locations, finding
But library
people
and.
for polls, it's not gonna be that difficult.
And I think this needs to be added,
The board.
says, all the locations are gonna have the same hours and people will know what to expect.
Yes, exactly. And because the library is central, we have the election office and we're just doing Winterville because of that special.
Right.
election. I think that works. I'm all for it.
Okay.
So go ahead and make your friendly motion.
But written,
Friendly, it's, I think,
Oh,
if you'd like me to write it, I can, but if it's a friendly amendment, my understanding is that's, y'all kind of
okay.
Do we need to vote on a friendly amendment? Is that a thing?
Yeah, so friendly amendments technically are not a thing. So I know everyone thinks that they are, so you're not
Okay.
wrong to think that they are. But I
We
think I would
just make
just,
a regular amendment?
yeah, I think if,
We have a motion and a second on the regular amendment, so.
yeah, I think that's fine.
Okay.
Let me just
Great.
there.
Okay.
Everyone does it.
I have,
For the first, you can, pull back the first motion and then include everything.
Oh, we're good.
Okay, you
We
good?
got a second and
Okay.
so what I've done is I've taken what I had read back before. And after where it said, wherever it said Winterville Train Depot, I put a comma and said, and the Athens-Clarke County Public Library. That's the same thing you just said, if that's what I heard correctly.
Let's take a vote. All those in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Not about one election with.
The next item on the agenda is the advanced voting template for elections in 2024 and beyond. Chair recognizes Mr. Gutierrez.
I was actually waiting to see how we voted on this 2023 election. And since we have done that, I think this template would work. I think we need two templates. One is for odd years, and it should be pretty much what we have today for the November election. And then for 2024 election, I think we should have a full slew of all the past polling precincts, because last time I believe Ms. McGlone was talking about, we are going to look into having two shifts. Maybe we'll be able to bring in the voters, bring in the people to work the polls. I think for 2024, I'm definitely open to that idea. I didn't put down the exact numbers or anything, because I really wanted to see how you all felt about the odd number year elections.
I have a question for the attorney. Whatever we decide, would that just kind of go with our bylaws? So a future board could change it if they wished? Or a future board can change anything they want. That's.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really the case unless it's something that's mandated by ordinance that a future board can change it. So if you adopt a template or whatever. as
It's
long
not
as-
like locked in for.
Right, exactly. It's basically a tool that you can use as long as the board continues to choose to use it.
And I think, I'm sitting here thinking, and I think that redistricting kind of pulled us off course, because normally, don't we have, aren't the, county commissioners staggered? There, so we had odds and evens, so we have at least five elections going on, on a particular time. So that, I think it would be depending on, look, we got one person, one office that people are running for. But when you increase the number of offices that you have that people are running for, I think that template would be kind of scarce. Because you got to deal with all the different districts. So now that would be an outstanding template if we come up against these special elections, that would be perfect. But for when the commissioner, because we back on track now, I assume for now, we're through with redistricting. But
Happens every 10 years.
yeah,
And the reason why I asked that question is to Hank's point, we're having a special election. We kind of did a bare bones schedule, that's a fine word. But what if there's a special election for a big federal candidate or something where we need to go, this just isn't gonna work?
I think that, because I talked to Attorney Drank about this, I think both of us had a little pause about adopting a template because we didn't want, which is not to say you shouldn't do it. We didn't want a future board to look at it and be like, this is gospel, this is perfect, this is always going to give you the solution, right? Because picking those dates can often be so nitpicky. And so we thought as long as the intent of the board, which I think is what it was, is that this would be a useful tool and would help guide things, that as long as it's carried forward in that concept and that's the right thing to do. Understanding that there just may be elections that are going to be very finicky and that are going to be outside of that template.
Well, one purpose for the template was so that the staff would have an idea of what is coming up 6 months down the road so they can prepare for it. But I think we'll be okay even without a template. I think we just have a general guideline for the even number elections and Ms. Fab was at, because those are the years. We got 5 commissioners running, sometimes mayor, sometimes governor, sometimes presidents.
So, and I honestly think that we were under a different set of circumstances when what happened last year. And I hope we never get under those circumstances again, you know, have to be rush up, hurry, hurry. And I think we all learned something from that experience. And I can say that what I see today, we absolutely did. So I'm in agreement. If we don't need a template, we don't need a template. Because we seem to have a continuity to get this thing done, even if we, you know, have to do it before an election and just not have a template.
Can I give Mr. Shirley a chance? Just to.
I would just, I agree with Ms. Fambro. The fact that we're talking about this so much now is how far we've come since the last time. All of us do not want to have that look again where we were just having to make decisions at the very last minute, which I think this board is not equipped to do that very well. Like we're about, let's come back and talk next month about this. That's how we're supposed to be. But having to come back that day and talk about something was not good. I am very thankful to staff for the numbers that they provided me.
They were very
Because just like seeing that, right? I was reminded yet again of how flawed my reasoning. I can say, well, I feel like that place is not a good location. The numbers are here, like the number there, we have, like, for example, I was not convinced that the tennis center was that great a turnout of location, but in terms of voters per day, it's in the top 3 over the past, 5 years worth of elections. And so it's just, to me, that's eye-opening to me, and we don't have to decide something right now. But it's good, like this is not going away, like these data will remain. We can open them back up when it comes time to set the dates for the next election. And I just felt like I at least was flying by the seat of my pants. Like I was just kind of letting how I felt about a certain voting location make me make decisions. I would like to see consistency wherever we can find it, but I understand, of course, balancing that with that extra hour on a Saturday. I totally get that. I am thinking about the comments that we received at our meetings we had back in the fall. There were poll workers included among them who were saying things like consistency, like it's so hard to say, where am I getting to vote when? So I would love to see whatever we do decide for any given election, whatever size of election it is, we make all the locations that are open be open as close as possible to the same amount of time. And I know that takes some forethought. Like if we get to y'all a month before, we can't get to the library in time and say, can y'all please be open 2 hours earlier than usual? But if we get to y'all 8 months ahead of time, maybe, right? Maybe there's a better chance. That's what I'm hoping for. That's kind of what I'm hoping to get to. Even if we don't get to a resolution or a template today, I'm thankful for the numbers that we've been able to get with this.
When do we need to, or should we vote on the polling locations and hours for the March primaries?
Yeah, that's
I
what
think we
we
should
do
do
it.
it soon,
Do
right?
it, do it early and take it, you know, one election at a time.
Especially, we'll see how the new poll workers, if they're good, maybe you have a new batch of people you really love. And they tell their friends to apply.
I cannot promise shift work.
No.
Can't promise it,
Okay.
but we will do our best to provide some if we have long extension. Yeah.
Oh, I think.
My goal is November. So.
I feel like that's gonna be a really big election.
Yes.
I think just as we did today, just as we worked together today, our template really was these numbers.
Yeah.
So if we can look at the numbers and we can decide, we can use the same hours that we used last time,
Yes.
next time. This is what we need to look at, the numbers.
And look, this
Yeah,
actually
look
helped
at,
us
yeah, look
today.
at the numbers because
Yeah.
anytime we have presidential primaries, the numbers are much greater, almost, you know, like it's November
They're not.
they're.
I was shocked,
Okay.
but the past, I'm gonna say 3 presidential preference primaries, it has
People
not
not showing
been.
up.
And we've piled on and added more workers, added more equipment, added more
And just-
supplies, and then
We'll
to
have to look at
find,
that.
yeah.
We'll have to look at that.
But we don't know, 2024 may show us something
Maybe
different.
something different, yeah,
But we'll be
because it
prepared for
it always is, you know?
Yes, but I would like to suggest, that if you could, as close to November or December, have us an idea of what you want advanced voting to look like for the PPP. And then,
Your Christmas present.
yeah, it'd be a big Christmas
You want
present.
us to like put a bow on it?
Yes, yeah,
I have a little party.
yes. And then
I think
maybe
we can do
3
that.
months in advance, like for the May primary, 3 months in advance, have us I think that gives us
Well,
enough time to plan.
I
and-
think that on that note, we could maybe amend our bylaws to kind of mandate that we do that 3 months in advance.
Yeah.
I think that's something.
Should we add that to the bylaws that we should come up with a plan or we should?
I don't know, I mean, we're obviously not gonna make any decisions today, and
Yeah.
it's getting late.
What was the reason? I'd like to hear your reason. It was pretty good. I didn't even think about doing something in sync with the bylaws. Was there anything particular to the bylaws that you were concerned about?
No. Just, as boards change over the years, different members have different opinions.
Okay.
I didn't know if one,
Okay.
that was my thinking.
One
Final thing.
One last thought I wanted to just, while we're on this topic, looking ahead to maybe not presidential preference primary, but looking ahead to the May municipal, May general, and then the primary general, and then the November elections. If we were to be able to, if we wanted to ask polling locations to be open at the same time as the board office, how long in advance do you feel like we would need to start, for lack of a better phrase, buttering up those locations to get them to be open an hour earlier than they normally are? Oh, it's fine? Okay. I don't know if it was gonna be a big amount.
No, it's here.
Okay.
It'd be a continual expansion of hours. We've been preparing them.
Yes.
Great. So then November, December, if that's when we get that to y'all, that's still, you think, good chance to get it work? Great.
Our locations, the locations in Clarke County said that they will do their best to work with us. So,
And also we got to keep in mind about runoffs.
Yes.
Runoffs are not good, never bring in the same number of people.
Right.
Now, the runoff is kind of like the election board that we facing that's coming up in
Yeah.
November.
I need to
Exactly.
mention
So I
something too.
think we all can make those
I
suggestions.
think so.
I think you can come and bring them.
Totally agree with you.
Not really, but
Do this and come back.
I just add to y'all, I mean,
Okay, we'll do it in next month, is that okay? Because that's what we was. Okay, so attorney, advise on the procedure here, so
For the
we
executive
can do
session.
the announcements and then go into the executive session.
Yep,
And
so-
then dismiss from there for the night, or tell me how we need to.
No, absolutely. So I'll be happy to clarify that. So I would certainly encourage you to conduct all of your business, including announcements, before going into executive session for our guests. Then what would happen is there would be a motion made to go into executive session. I can give you the exact language based on the exemptions. Once that happens, streaming could be turned off. We would go into the closed room, or streaming could be left on. That's fine either way. Then we would adjourn the executive session within the executive session to come back out to restart the main meeting. And at that point, if there was no additional business, then you would adjourn the main meeting in the public eye. That makes sense?
Sounds good to me. All right. Next item on the agenda are announcements.
yes.
I believe the director has an announcement, and then we'll go through the announcements printed in the agenda.
So it's not really an announcement, but I just wanted to ask the board. Brocky and I are meeting regularly before the meeting to discuss your agenda. And I was looking back at your bylaws that your agenda, your 7 days, I believe it is, that an item should be given to whoever's creating the agenda. And so if your agenda could be given to us a little sooner, and when there is guidance needed from the attorney's office, or from any other department, that gives us time to do it instead of rushing and finding stuff at the last minute. Yeah, and in time to make corrections if corrections need to be made. Y'all could get it to us a little sooner.
I think we talked about that a year ago,
Yes,
Yeah, we
where
did.
the agenda would come out on a Friday.
yes,
So that would give people, the public, time to look at it,
yes.
to discuss it, whatever, Google it, whatever they want to do, preparation for our meeting. And somehow it just got slipped back to where it was.
Yes. So if y'all could do that a little sooner.
And just while we're on that topic, if I can share, we were talking about bylaws as well. The bylaws do say that items to be added to the agenda should be, oh wait, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong part. I just don't want to misstate it. Of course I moved it. There we go. Just says that if a board member wishes to add an item to the tentative agenda, such request must be made in writing at least 7 days before the applicable board meeting. And then it continues on. This is the draft that I have. I could have an old draft. of
I think we
bylaws.
updated that to where
I'll make
if
sure.
if we wanted to add it at the last minute, that we had the option to add it at the last minute. if I remember correctly.
Let me be sure I give you the most recent copy.
Yes, absolutely. Well, and it certainly says, like it goes on, it says failure to include an agenda item does not mean that it couldn't be considered. So certainly like the Open Meetings Act allows you to add something. So maybe that's the language you're thinking of.
It is.
It just would help us if we could get things in advance.
Some research was needed.
The announcements are as follows. Disability voting access event at the library will happen tomorrow from 3 to 7 p.m. Tomorrow is September 13th. Tuesday, September 19th is National Poll Worker Day. October 1st through the 7th is National Voter Education Week. And within that week is Tuesday, October 3rd, that's Election Education Forum specifically for elected officials and political parties. I intend on going. Would you like to join me?
Are you providing dinner?
Possibly. If you hear. Hot dogs, yeah. Hot dogs in the plate. Wednesday, October 4th is the Community Education Forum at Miriam Moore. The 5th of October is Election Education Forum for voters. October 10th is the deadline to register, update registration, and time to vote for the November election, which is on November 5th. And Monday, October 16th is the earliest date the Department of Elections is allowed to mail absentee ballots. And advanced voting begins for November 2023 election. Okay. Now, the language for.
Sure. This is the affidavit.
Okay.
But I should have written this up. I would make a motion to enter into executive session to discuss or to have an attorney-client conference. And you can just read that underlined part. I think that.
Just read the underlying part.
Yeah, if you just say I'm moving to enter for that purpose.
Okay. The chair will entertain a motion to enter into executive session for attorney-client conference to discuss a document that is not releasable under the Georgia Open Records Act, OCGA 50-18-72 A-41. As is authorized by OCGA 5014-3 B4. So that was the motion.
Yep, I so move.
A second.
Motion, Mr. Kadir, second, Ms. Till. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Do I sign this now or when we're done?
You can sign it when you're done. This is the statement about what occurred in executive session, and it will need to be notarized. So at this point, I think it should just be Charlotte and any high level staff that you'd like to have involved, and then the board and myself, if that works.
Really good.
How long that's been out?
Oh, it's better.
I think people want to eat dinner, so
Yeah, we on a tight schedule here, y'all.
call the meeting back to order at six,
No.
6:16 PM.
Mhm.
We're still on the agenda item of final approval of changes to polling precincts and election day polling locations effective March 2024, and the chair recognizes the attorney.
Excellent. So what I've prepared are two draft resolutions. These are exactly the same as the previous resolutions that you had approved in July 20th with regards to precinct changes and polling location changes. And this would give you some just additional time to make sure that these changes are properly advertised. The big change that would need to be made, I believe, is on page 3 of both of these documents, which are different. And it's just that we would need to identify at what meeting the board would plan to vote to make these official, since it appears that that will not happen today.
Okay.
I'm happy to provide these to you or whoever, if you'd like Director Sosby to fill it out once you all determine what date that would be.
Recommend, is October 3rd an appropriate date?
It's a mayor commission meeting night, so, but.
Oh, well, how about
The name of voting site.
October 2nd?
Is it October 3rd? Whatever that Tuesday
It
is.
is, third is a Tuesday.
Yeah.
October the 2nd, I can make that work.
That's Monday.
So it's gonna be published on the 17th and the 24th.
Yes, ma'am.
If any way possible, y'all, could we do it the end of September?
Okay.
That last week of September, since it's gonna be
But
published.
does that
2 times.
satisfy 2 weeks? If it's in that week, don't we have to go
Do we have to wait on that whole week or,
anything after the 30th?
okay,
Once
so
the
the
once
30th.
the notice is published, you would. Hold on, let me read exactly what the statute says.
Yeah.
October first.
So the
Yeah.
code,
A month.
If it had to be for 2
the
weeks.
section
It would have to.
says
be.
the board is required to publish notice of the proposed changes once a week for 2 consecutive weeks. So I would think once that second notice has been published, that you would have met your obligations under the statute.
Okay, yeah, because it's out in the public view then, it's up to them to look at it.
Yes.
So we possibly could meet the last, or the one day in the last week of September.
Sure, I'm okay with that, yes.
So, the location is gonna be the, issue because they have training going on at the warehouse. And I don't know if we'll be able to get this location.
We use
So-
the boardroom at your office? Isn't there a boardroom upstairs?
But then we got, how are we gonna live stream and everything?
Yeah, so it would be better to use one of the city hall rooms in 301 or 103.
Yeah. They got several, don't they?
The 27th, if you're talking about the last week, is that's a Wednesday. That, I know those meeting rooms are generally booked with other committees. I don't know about Monday or Tuesday, the 25th.
Some of them take
Yeah,
minutes.
just a few minutes.
it's only gonna take a few minutes.
Famous last words.
Right?
I mean, the 25th is fine for me. 26 is
The 20,
good.
25th, 26th, or 27th would work.
At Lexington Road.
I was just saying the 27th would be difficult because I know PSCOB and HRC are both meeting and they both stream in the evening on both of those. Although in fairness, actually, they start at 6, so.
Well, Lisa just
They
said
said 25th or the 26th would be okay
25th, 26th, 27th.
For this room?
for Lexington Road.
Okay, oh, I see.
How's your schedule?
I would say I have personal conflicts on the 26th and the 27th, but I could see if someone else could cover for me.
I mean, I'm okay on the 25th too.
I'm okay on the
Yeah,
25th, 26th, either one
I'm
of
gonna be
these.
here on my behalf, by the way, because I'll.
Oh, because you'll be on, right?
Okay, so what your schedule look like, Pam?
25th, how about that?
So 25th,
Does that require a motion and vote?
I think because it'll be part of the resolution, I don't think you have to vote on that. I just want to be really clear before I start writing it down because this is the only copy I have of this document. So is everybody okay with a special called meeting on September 25th?
Yep. What time? 4 o'clock?
Can Adam
5.
make it?
I'll be here before 4.
4:30.
4:30.
And I do not, we didn't include the time, so I'm not doing that in this. Oh,
And then we have a clean slate.
Mhm.
We can start back painting the canvas again.
No,
That's
that-
255. Right, that's the.
does anyone have whiteout?
And icing cake.
This is brilliant. I just wrote meeting twice. That's all.
Sorry, I have no whiteout.
That's right. It'll be fine. It's recorded as to what happened, so that. Monday.
If you really just pulled one.
Look at that.
You are awesome.
Bag.
Thank you,
You sure
Lisa.
did.
Very much appreciate that.
I had the right bag.
Lisa, what's the zip code out there?
Very kind.
Thank you.
That's
Julie. Why not one hand zip code there?
Is it 4:30 and what's the y'all in?
5.
I'll ask you.
Lexington Training Room.
Training room?
Today's the 12th. There's the. Oh, no, that's precinct change. Wait,
Election day.
yeah, that's precinct change. So, just look at
All right.
Do I get another?
That's what I was asking.
Give me my afternoon snack.
Okay.
This is for the polling location changes.
Okay.
They did it.
Yeah, and I do think you'll need a motion on, a vote on that.
What of this do I need to read? All 12 pages or first paragraph?
Motion.
That is a great question.
Oh,
I think if you just read the header, I think that's,
this bolded part.
yeah, I think the red.
Okay.
Is sufficient.
Chair will entertain a motion to vote on a resolution of the Athens-Clarke County Board of Elections and Registration to report its findings related to the proposed precinct changes and to approve and authorize the publication of the notice of the proposed precinct changes and for other lawful purposes. Did you catch all that?
Yep, that'll work.
Okay.
And, oh, wait,
Let's, one at a time.
sorry.
Motion, Ms. Fambro, second. Second by Ms. Till. All those in favor of adopting this resolution, say aye.
Hold up. No, fine.
Do you need?
Read the motion to read. Would you like me to send you the Word file too, so you can just copy that language in?
Yeah, just copy and paste it later. I read it,
No, no.
it's recorded.
And we gotta sign it.
Yes, yeah.
Yes, you guys have.
Okay. And this one is polling places, okay. So the chair will entertain a motion to approve a resolution of the Athens-Clarke County Board of Elections and Registration to approve and authorize publication of notice of the proposed polling place changes as reflected in Exhibit A attached hereto and incorporated herein by reference and for other lawful purposes. Motion, Ms. Tell, for a second.
I'll second.
Okay, second, Mr. Shirley, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Adopted. Okay. Would you like us to sign?
Yes, please. And we will also need to execute the affidavit for the executive session, but we can do that after the meeting.
Sure. And then, you write the date on that one? Okay. I'll probably mess it up.
This 12th day of September.
September,
September.
almost 2024. Ain't bad, okay. Not bad.
Oh. All right. Did someone have their notary? Do they need to like watch me do this or?
We have a notary?
Look at that.
Look, there's the bag.
Bag.
Thank you for finding me. It's those now.
Yeah, I think that's fine to do it later as long as you're willing to certify that you saw it.
I need to read this whole thing out loud.
I don't think so. I don't think we usually do. In fact, sometimes I think we do it after the meeting's already done. As long as affidavit is.
That doesn't say Rocky.
It does too.
We'll finish with this.
We just take-
Used to use two spaces after every period, and then Rocky told me he didn't like that. So
Told
I
you,
thought it
you're
was two periods,
old
two
man.
spaces after.
Yeah,
Okay, any more business?
2 period.
That's the way it's supposed to be.
No.
Hands it down so we can.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I don't want to rush you. No, no,
No,
no.
no, I'm so sorry.
And then
The hour's late, 12.
I'm not gonna watch y'all sign y'all names.
You go through everything with my signature on it in the file cabinet, it'll be exactly the same.
Did you see how Adam did his?
Right way,
Backwards.
the right way.
He said them right.
Can we adjourn?
Read the affidavit.
Yep. We'll get that.
Great.
Chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion, do we have a second?
Yeah,
Second.
second.
Motion, Mr. Kadir, all those in favor say aye.